Everyone, this is Norbert, and what you are looking at right now is possibly the future of Chimera. So usually I don't look too much into the future because we still have a ban list to come, we still have another set where Ryziel and Malice is in to come before we actually get Supreme Darkness. But there's one OCG player, goes by the name Kinta, on Twitter, who is very good with Chimera post-result and also post-combos. So I leave the link in the description. If you're fine with having an auto-translate, or if you can speak Japanese, then definitely check out their notes on Chimera because they are really good. So what I saw in these combos and notes really got me excited and got me to actually test a bit with the Supreme Darkness stuff. And what you see here on the screen is the first list I've come up with, and I'll also show you two combos here. And the deck fundamentally changed, and it's only because of 3 new cards. So for that, let's just go through the whole deck. We can just quickly go over the Chimera cards. We still 3 Gazelles, the best normal summon here. We have 3 Quaddle because it searches the Gazelle. We have the Nightmare Apprentice, of course, and we have 2 Mirror Sword Knight now. Because I said before Gazelle is the best normal summon, we want to keep it to like 5 normal summons here, and Mirror Sword Knight definitely the weaker one, because if this gets disrupted, then you will be left without a body. And 1 Baphomet is standard right now, and obviously 3 Chimera Fusion and our Diabells. Now Diabells is a bit different now from what it was before, because now actually she can use the first line of her text. If a Sinful Spoils card is in either player's graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. So we now run Sinful Spoils cards, so if you draw the Diabells or if you search it later, you can just slam her down. It's neat. It's not a big deal for the combos, but it's nice. Then we have obviously still our Fiendsmith package. Let me put the heroes next to each other. So the Sinister Necrom, a Dusted Gold, 1 Engraver, 1 Lacrima. No target for the Engraver. I'm trying to keep it small. Then we have the new edition, which kind of replaces the Patchwork engine now, and that is Diabellstar the Black Witch. We run 2 Diabellstar, 3 Wanted, because the Diabellstar combos, similar to Snake Eye, are very heavy on discards. So the Wanted will give you back that discard, whereas the Diabellstar won't. So we run a ratio of 3 and 2 here. Then we run 1 Deception. This is a one-off here because similar to Fire King, this deck has enough starters. You can actually get to this with your Chimera engine, which is really cool. And also this card, it is a bit weak against any kind of hand trap, so you don't really want to have that as your 1-card combo. Next up, we obviously have the Hallowed Azamina. And now for the 2 new cards that get this whole thing going. So we have the Sinful Spoils of the White Forest. Important that it's called Sinful Spoils. It's a quick spell, and it says if you control a Fiend, Illusion, or Spellcaster monster, you see Fiend and Illusion, that's our Chimera types, and then Spellcaster is the Diabellstar, but the Fiend and Illusion is the important part here. Activate one of these effects. Special summon 1 Fiend, Illusion, or Spellcaster monster from your hand. It's whatever, but the second one, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. So this is a card that we can access via Diabellstar or the Azamina engine, and it can make Guardian Chimera, it can just be another fusion spell, it can dodge things. It's basically another copy of Chimera Fusion, just accessed by a different engine. And then lastly, if this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a monster effect, you can set this card. Now this effect actually doesn't come up really in this, because both Diabellstar and Nightmare Apprentice do not discard to activate an effect. It's just part of the summoning condition. So the only way to trigger that effect, I think, is the new link for Abao. So we'll get to that later. The other new addition is Azamina LZ of the White Forest. Level 2 Illusion, so this is accessible via our engine, and now you might see where this is going. You can reveal this card in your hand, special summon 1 White Forest or Azamina monster from your hand. That includes herself, so you can just use it as an extender. During your main phase, you can fusion summon 1 Azamina fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. So it's basically Cartesia for this deck. and it's searchable. So you can just search this, summon it, and infuse with it. It's an illusion, so it's half the Baphomet. And then the other effect is also crucial. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can add one Sinful Spoils card from your deck to your hand. So we have one synchro monster here, the Chaos Angel, and this doesn't require tuna. So level 8 and this Chaos Angel, and you get the search. Next up, we actually run hand traps now. So don't take this too seriously. It's just like I just threw in hand traps that I thought would be good. So like Fualos, Ash Blossom, Ghost Ogre, Veiler, Imperm. This is obviously not set in stone. We're looking so far into the future that we cannot really like predict which non-engine would be correct here. Maybe it's Bolt Breakers here, maybe it's different hand traps, maybe we put in back Nibiru, Droll, anything like that. I just put in something to fill out the deck just to show that we can actually run 15 non-engine slots. So for the extra deck, we have the Guardian Chimera, of course. We have an Azamina package of the Moa Regina, the Murcielago, and the Sylvia. So Murcielago and Sylvia should be known to most people, and Moa Regina is one illusion monster and one level 6 or higher fiend monster. You can target one illusion monster in your graveyard except yourself, special summon it. Really good in this deck, obviously, and when an Azamina or Sinful Spoil card or effect is activated, except yourself, you can target up to 2 cards on the field, destroy them. Actually comes up in this deck, so pretty nice monster, and this is one of the main pieces that bridges the engines together. Then we have one Magnum, one Baphomet. That's a ratio that the OCG has now as well. The extra deck is so tight that we have to make cuts. You see in the side deck there's another Baphomet. I really want to include the second one. I might do it in the future, but I have to see what to cut first. We have the Aerial Eater, which is important to bridge us into our combos. Obviously the Chimera King, the Chaos Angel, which already has been a staple, but now it's actually part of the combo. The Caesar now. Caesar in the TCG right now obviously is very strong, but in the OCG it has fallen out of favor. So one change I can see us make is cut the Caesar, put in the second Burfo, which seems wild, but Caesar just has been less effective in the OCG. Again, this is a choice that you have to make in the future. We don't know how the meta is going to shape up. Then we have the new link for Abao. 2+ monsters including a Fiend. Very easy to make in this deck. And during the main phase, quick effect, you can discard one card, activate one of these effects, either destroy a card or banish this card, and if you do, special summon Light Dog from your graveyard. And during the standby phase, you can draw cards equal to the number of different monster types among the monsters in your graveyard, then place the same number of cards from your hand on the bottom to the deck in any order. So, this can revive your Baphomet, your Mirror Sword Knight, it can revive your Chaos Angel if it's in the grave to banish something, it can revive your Sylvia actually after it's negated, it can pop a card, and also if we don't count our hand traps, we already have 4 types: Beast, Illusion, Fiend, and Spellcaster. So once this comes back in your standby phase, you're going to draw 4 cards and put 4 cards back. You just basically have a custom hand. So really strong card here. Then we have the SP Little Knight. Obviously it's just a generic Link 2 that can remove stuff, and it's also the preferred endboard piece if we decide to cut the Caesar. Instead of making the Caesar, you will just end on SP, which is fine. We then have the Moon of the Closed Heaven. This helps you play through hand traps, and it's also part of one of the combos here. It's not mandatory. You'd have to switch up the combos a bit, obviously, if you cut her. And then for the Fiendsmith package, you also have Sequence and Requiem. So that's the list, and let me show you some one-card combos. Actually, we have them now. All right, so we're here with the one-card combo Nightmare Apprentice and 4 discards. This deck is very heavy on discards sometimes because of the Azamina engine, so that's a weakness as opposed to the old Patchwork engine. But let me show you how this combo goes with the Nightmare Apprentice. So we're going to discard any card into our Apprentice, and this will add you the Caudal. The beginning of this line will seem very familiar to you because this is what we're doing with one Apprentice in the TCG right now. With the Caudal, you have a choice between Mirror Sword Knight or the Gazelle. The Mirror Sword Knight you won't access for the rest of this combo, so if you want it in grave, you get it now, but you are going to be risked at the risk of being ashed on the Mirror Sword Knight summon effect of getting Gazelle, whereas if the Gazelle gets impermed, you still have 2 bodies to make the moon. So, and then go into Fiendsmith stuff. So, you have to make that read yourself. I'm just going to go with the safer line of Gazelle here. And you're going to normal summon the Gazelle. And this will add you Chimera Fusion. And this will make you Performant. So, Performant is here. And then you're going to go and use these 2. The Performant will send your Necrom, which now you have access to the Fiendsmith engine, and the Necrom will also make you somewhat nib-proof, because at any point if they nib you, you will have the token, so the token plus a Light Fiend can make sequence and you just go from there. So, from here, you will add the new LZ with the Gazelle. And before you continue, you just grab back the Chimera Fusion. And now you're gonna go special summon the LZ and use her effect to fuse. So this is an illusion and a level 6 or higher fiend. Now, you can see Murcielago and Sylvia here in the options. That's because we have an effect Veiler in hand, which is a light spellcaster, so maybe that comes up at some point, but not in this combo. So we're just gonna go to the Regina. And the Regina will revive our LZ. It can revive any illusion. So now we have an 8 and a 2, which means we can make Chaos Angel. So synchro these 2. And that'll trigger the LZ. We not use Chaos Angel here, of course. That'll be a bit weird. We're gonna grab the Deception here, and we're gonna activate the Deception. And depending on what your hand is, you can also just tribute the Chaos Angel. Just note that you will have 1 body less at the course of the combo here. So let's just go with the more greedy line where we discard from hand instead. And this will get us the Hallowed Azamina, which we then use, sending the Deception to summon Murcielago, and Murcielago and grab us our Wanted. Now, in like Fire King, you would have to link these off to get back the Hallowed, but in this list, you can actually just like grab back the Hallowed Azamina by shuffling back the Azamina LZ, because it's an Azamina monster. So you're gonna grab these back, and what you do now is you're gonna activate the Hallowed Azamina, and you're gonna chain the Wanted, so you get a free send off of the Hallowed Azamina. So this will grab you your Diabellstar, and the Hallowed Azamina will send the Wanted to special summon your Sylvia. Now we have an Omni Negate on the field, and now we can actually go and use the Necrom to go into our Fiendsmith engine. So let us go this here, and we'll go into Requiem. And Requiem, then special summon the Lacrima, which can then send the Engraver. Now what's cool here is you can actually use the Requiem to equip to the Lacrima, and now we have a free send for our Diabellstar. So, and then Diabellstar can set you your Sinful Spoils of the White Forest, which is a fusion spell for the opponent's turn to make like a Guardian Chimera, for example. Next up, we can make a sequence by linking to Monsters Off. And we will use the sequence to go into Area Leader by just shuffling back to Light Fiends. and that'll send to the graveyard your Baphomet. Now you can go and use the engraver, shuffle back the Lacrima, and this will make you your Caesar. And now we still have a bunch of bodies on board, and we can convert these into the new Link 4. Which can then discard card, banish special summon, and we will grab back our Baphomet, which then locks us into fusions from here on out, which we only make one more summon out of the extra deck here. We're going to use the Chimera fusion, go into Chimera, using the Gazelle and the Burful, probably in the extra monster zone. It's probably better to put this in the extra zone, so you have one more space. This will trigger both Burful and Chimera. The Burful actually can resummon Regina, and if you went through the Mirror Sword Knight here, you can summon that back, obviously. But in this case, we're going for the Regina. Get the hand rip, summon the Regina, and we will also get a draw of what we wanted, obviously, at some point in this combo. And then you set the fusion, and in the end phase, you will get back your bow. Now, what does this board do? So, you obviously get the hand rip, you have the quadruple targeting protection, you have Caesar, double summon negate, you have an Omni negate here, and once you Omni negate, you can use more Regina's second effect to pop 2 cards in that chain. You have a Chimera fusion and a Sinful Spoils of the White Forest. So you can actually access 2 fusions in your extra deck, being like the Magnum and the Guardian Chimera, or if you play a second Baphomet, you will do that. You can use the Bow, which will come back, to special summon from the grave a Chaos Angel, which can banish something, or once you fuse off the Chimera King, you can also use that to summon the Bow, the Chaos Angel. If they happen to somehow Dark Ruler you, for the Azamina, you can just fuse it away, and with the Chimera King you can revive it, so you get back your Omni negate. So yeah, you have a really big amount of layered interruptions. And like, if you look at the grave for Bow, you have a Fiend, you have a Beast, you have a Spellcaster, and you have an Illusion. So even if you didn't discard any monsters here, you will get a 4-card mulligan in your standby phase. Assuming Bow survives, which she can, as a quick effect, leave the field, so there's a high chance she survives. And we have 2 cards left in hand here. So that is one Nightmare Apprentice. Let's show you the other way around. Alright, so let's see how the combo works if we go from the other side, if we have the Sinful Spoils engine. Now, this is a combo that I found pretty late, and it's really nice that you can actually bridge from Diabellstar into your Chimera plays. So let's just start by discarding the Vader, getting the Diabellstar, and Diabellstar grabs you your Deception. Activate the Deception, and again you can choose whether you want to take cards from the field or from your hand, depending on what line you're doing. We're just going for max potential here. We're getting the Hallowed Azamina, not the LZ. It's not her time to shine here. We are activating the Hallowed Azamina, getting the Murcielago, sending the Deception, and this will now grab you your Sinful Spoils of the White Forest. Now, depending on the line you're doing, you can also just, like if you started with Diabellstar instead of Wanted, you can grab Wanted here, because it's only used for the discard here, potentially, and you can get your draw this way. Now here we started with wanted, obviously, so we're going the fusion. Also, we're gonna get to it in a second. In this case, we actually don't have the LZ, so to get back the 100 Azamina, we have to link off the Murcielago. But we're gonna go Fiendsmith line anyway, so we're going to Moon. In this point, if you have the wanted, before you link into Moon, before you commit to the Fiendsmith line, you can actually also say, okay, you go wanted to draw a card, maybe you draw into your Chimera engine, because you haven't normal summoned yet, right? So that's definitely something you can do, but I'll just assume here we're drawing a hand trap anyway and just play the combo out here. So, Hello Azamina adds itself back, and we're gonna use it here, and if we have like any of our tri-types and we can make like a burp from it, you can actually chain the Sinful Spoils here, get a free fusion out of it. I'll just assume we can't fuse here. Now obviously we have a monster here and an extra monster here, so we could make Magnum, but let's just not do that here. We're gonna go Silver, pitch the Sinful Spoils of the White Forest, and get out our Omni Negate. Now we are free to go into our Fiendsmith line. So Requiem, use the effect, special summon Lacrima. Lacrima sends Engraver, and Engraver is back. And you got sequence. You go into Aerial Eater. Leave the Engraver engraved, so we have follow-up, because we have a Light Fiend with the sequence. So Engraver here, Aerial Eater here, use it, send Perfo, so that we access it. Now you had a cross path. So you could non-summon a hand trap and make a link with those, but let's just do it greedily here, and we're actually going to do something weird and link off the Sylvia. But don't worry, we'll get it back, so this is not the end of the world. We're going to use the Abao, discard another card, banish itself, and special summon our Baphomet. So from now on we are locked into fusions, but that's all we're going to make anyway. So we're going to add the Chimera Fusion, we're going to add the Gazelle. If you opted to normal summon a hand trap, you just fuse here, but if you still have your normal summon, you can normal summon the Gazelle here. And just grab another fusion. And now you're just doing the old-fashioned fusion of Baphomet and Gazelle into Chimera, the King of Phantom Beasts. And we do the standard chain link line of Burfo, of Gazelle, and the Chimera King. Now you already saw it automatically selected the Sylvia because Sylvia is an illusion monster, so at this point Baphomet can just revive her. The Gazelle can then add an illusion, and since we haven't touched our Quaddle yet, I'm going to use that. You could also go for a Nightmare Apprentice in this case and just discard another to have another body on field, but we can't link anyway. So we're just going to use Quaddle here, get the Mirror Sword Knight, and grab back Chimera Fusion, of course, and then use that to fuse into Burfo. Now you fuse the Chimera King and the Mirror Sword Knight for Baphomet. Which will then send to the graveyard your Diabellstar. And then you also get the draw card, obviously, at some point in the combo. Let's get back the fusion spell, because the deception will set itself in the end. You set the hand trap, and yeah, you end on the Baphomet, you'll end on the Omni, you have a Chimera Fusion, you have 2 cards in hand. You will have Diabellstar set up in grave, you have Mirror Sword Knight Quaddle set up in grave, you have Chimera King of Phantom Beasts, in the grave, ready to revive something. You have the Engraver as follow-up to revive itself. The Deception can set itself, and this can actually, like, in your next turn, add you the LZ, and you will get your Abao back. So you don't have to worry, actually, like, the Abao comes back and you will get your Mirror Sword Knight or your Baphomet back, so you have more resources in hand. So that's the Diabellstar line. Okay, so now we are back with the deck, and yeah, you saw the combos, very, very strong one-card combos. Now, it remains to be seen if one-card combos is the way that Chimera wants to go. Obviously, if you have more cards, then you can dodge hand traps better and such, but there are other decks that do one-card combos plus hand traps better than Chimera. So I wouldn't write off the Patchwork engine just now, but what this deck can do is really, really strong already. And you have fewer bricks with the Patchwork stuff. Sometimes you just have the random poly that doesn't do anything. Now you just have one fusion spell. And obviously having Omni Negates and that can recycle themselves. That's one of the strengths of this deck. Is you saw how many cards of the extra deck we used, but both the Fiendsmith and the Azamina engine can recycle themselves continuously. So there's actually a case to be made to just run Desiree, because with Desiree you will have a continuously looping threat of a Fiendsmith monster, as opposed to Caesar, which is a one-time thing. So very, very exciting things for the future of Chimera. I hope you liked this video. If you did, leave a comment, leave a like, and sub. We're very, very close to actually getting 1,000 subs. And see you next time.